Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video we'll be learning that how to crochet this viral rose bag, and this tutorial is for absolute beginners, so that people who've never tried crocheting or just started, they can really make it by following me and my videos. The materials I'm using is a 3mm hook, but you can use any hook size depending on the yarn size. I'm using a pair of scissors, darning needle, and a stitch marker. This is optional. You can use a safety pin instead of this, or a bobby pin. And I'm using some pearls to make the handle of it like this. This is the look when you add pearls to make the handle, but these are pretty optional. You can use anything to make this its handle. You can crochet its handle with the single crochet and attach it by the sides of your piece of the bag, and you can also use the chain, the fat chain, to make the handle, but personally I prefer you to use pearls. It matches to your bag. You can use any color to make it. First I make it with white, and now I'm gonna make it with the color maroon. And for the yarn, I'm gonna use acrylic, and I prefer you to use this because this will give you a proper rose shape and it's good. You can also use cotton or milk cotton, but don't use any fat yarn, like very plied yarn like plush yarn or fluffy yarn. They will be not suitable for this, so use acrylic, cotton or milk cotton that suits to your project. For this, first I'm going to start making the base part. So to make the base part, I'm going to make a magic ring first. So grab your yarn with these two fingers, ring finger and pinky, and go behind your index finger and middle finger. Wrap the yarn end around these two fingers twice, and you have a yarn end over here. Stick it towards your palm, secure with your thumb. And now you're gonna flip your hand. You can see you have two parts, a part where you have two parallel lines, and a part where you have a crisscross. This is the bottom, okay? This is the front, this is the bottom. You're gonna face a part where you have front parallel lines. Now for this video, I'm gonna call this loop, and this is the back loop. So this is my front loop, this is my back loop. I'm gonna go through my front loop and grab onto my second one and pull through the first one. So you have something look like this. You're gonna rotate your hook clockwise. So you've created a triangle over here at the below your hook, and now you're gonna yarn over on the working yarn. So the working yarn is the yarn which is right underneath your thumb, and you've secured. This is also the working yarn, and you have secured it with your this finger as well. So so you're gonna yarn over on this. To yarn where you go behind, over, and on top of the working yarn. So wrap the yarn around your hook once, and now you're gonna pull it through the loop on the hook over here. So this one, like this, and now you can stick your hand out. So you have a big circle. You're gonna pull this yarn in to make it a bit smaller, like this would be normal. And for the yarn, for the loop on the hook, it should be like freely moving onto your hook. It should not be so loose or so tight. So just gently pull the working yarn to make it as it fits onto your hook like this. It should freely move onto your hook, not too tight, not too loose. And for the yarn, I'm holding it with these two fingers, and I'm going behind my index finger, and this is my piece. I'm going to secure my piece with my thumb. And for the hook, I'm holding it how I'm writing, but you can use the knife gripping like this, but personally I used to use this gripping for my personal preference, but you can use any of it. So let's start by chaining 3. So while making the magic ring, we've made the first chain. So this is a V, you can see. I hope so. One V represents one chain. We're gonna chain one. So to chain yarn over on the working yarn, pull through the loop on our hook, and then again yarn over bring your hook back over on top of the working yarn, pull through the loop on your hook. And for the index finger, is always pointed up so the working yarn can easily slide onto your index finger. So it's a border which is attaching your piece with the working yarn like this. It's coming from here, so it's important for you to point up your index finger up. So you've chained 3. Now you're gonna place 12 double crochets. So yarn over, insert my hook into the ring right in the middle. I'm also cutting onto the yarn tail while working, so the yarn tail is hidden inside my stitches. I don't need a weave in it after. And then after, yarn over, pull through the ring. Now I got 3 loops on my hook. I'm gonna yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops. So first loop, then the second loop. And now I'm left with 2 loops. I'm gonna yarn over, pull through both loops on my hook. This is how we make our double crochet. So let's make another. Yarn over, insert my hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through the ring. Now I got 3 loops on my hook. I'm gonna yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through both loops. And for this first double crochet, I'm sorry I forgot, so unravel the stitch you've made incorrect. Just gently pull the working yarn so you reach your first stitch, and then now you're gonna mark this to pull up a bigger loop. And now look at your piece from above. So like this, you can see a V over here, this V, which is right underneath this big loop. You're gonna slide your stitch marker through it, this like this, and then now you're gonna lock the stitch marker. So this loop is the loop which is on top of our hook as always. And then now you're gonna slide your hook back, pull the working yarn like this, and you've marked your first stitch. Remember to mark your every first stitch of the round so that you're on track. So let's continue making the double crochets. So this is my second. Yarn over, insert my hook into the ring, also cutting onto the yarn end, yarn over, pull through the ring. Now I got 3 loops on my hook. I'm gonna yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops, so first 2. And now I'm left with 2 loops. I'm gonna yarn over, pull through both loops. So I've made my 3. I'm gonna make more to have a total of 12 double crochets. You're just gonna make 12 double crochets inside this ring. Doesn't matter that if your ring is finishing or you had a bigger ring. We're gonna fix that thing later. Just place 12 double crochets all across, means inside this ring. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I'm gonna place 6 more to have a total of 12 double crochets, and I'm gonna meet you when I'm done with it. So I'm done with this, and you can see you have a moon shape formed. And now you're gonna gently pull this yarn end over here. You're gonna tightly pull this to close up the gap in the middle. So tightly pull this. Now your gap is closed in the middle. So you are gonna first check that you've made the right number of stitches. So count it from the stitch marker. You're gonna see V's on top of the stitches, or you can just count the stitches, that how you had to. This is the look of our stitches. Okay, right, this is the look. This is like a standing something, like first twist, and then the second twist is on top of the first stitch. This is like how double crochet looks. But you can also count it from the top part. These are the V's. Count it from your stitch marker. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. We had 12 loops. Now we're gonna slip stitch to the first stitch. So remove off your stitch marker, first pull it. Now you can see there is a gap over here. You're gonna insert your hook in this gap. So this is the stitch where stitch marker was at, and now you're also gonna carry on to the yarn end. So after this you're gonna slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through the stitch, and now you have a loop on your left and a loop on your right. You're gonna pull this loop through this loop to make a slip stitch. And remember, this is not a stitch, this is a connecting stitch. You're gonna tighten the slip stitch like pulling a bigger loop and hold it from your this part, the beginning part of slip stitch, and pull it tightly, pull the hook tightly like this, and your stitch is tight. Slip stitch shouldn't be visible like all the V's, it should be that much smaller. And then now you're gonna move on to the second round. We're done with the first one. So to move on to the second round, we're gonna chain 3 in the every beginning of the round. And now for this round, we're gonna make the pattern for this round. The round 2 is 12 double crochet increases. So to make an increase, you yarn over, but this time we're just gonna work in the back loop. So you can see there are loops. This is a V. A V have 2 loops. You can like, this is the V. So this is the V. This is the front loop, which is at the front part of you, and this is the back loop, which is further away from you. You're gonna go in the first loop. Imagine this is your hook, my finger is your hook, and then you're gonna work. So go in the back loop only, not the loop which is at the front part of you. Go in the loop which is further away from you. So I'm gonna show you how it works. You're gonna yarn over, insert your hook in the back loop. So this is a small stitch, upcoming stitch at the back loop of our upcoming stitch, and you're gonna also cut onto the yarn end and place a double crochet in the back loop only like this. And then now you're gonna mark this. So you're gonna place another double crochet in the exact same loop. So yarn over, insert my loop. So you can also see it's a hole over here. Yarn over, insert my hook into the exact same loop, and then place another double crochet. So this is a pattern for the round 2 increases. And then move on to the second stitch. So just the back loop. You can see that I'm just going in the back loop, and I'm cutting onto the yarn end, and I'm placing double crochet. Then after, I'm placing another double crochet in the same stitch. So the thing that we are doing over here, placing that double crochet or whatever stitch you're making at the back loop, this is the current pattern that we're gonna use all over our piece. So our piece would be, our big circle would be that much bigger, would be that much, or this much I guess, and this will stay the same whether how many rounds you make. So you're just gonna work in the back loop for this project. So yarn over, insert my hook into the back loop, and place another increased double crochet. Placing 2 stitches in one stitch makes an increased stitch. However, you're making double crochet, single crochet, half double crochet, treble crochet, or another stitch in crocheting. And so this is the pattern for the round 2, and I'm going to continue doing this all across until I reach the end of my row. So I've reached my last stitch. You can see this is, so yarn over, insert my hook into the back loop of the last stitch like this, and then now make a double crochet, increase. So don't take this stitch, this small thing as a stitch, because this is a slip stitch. We tighten it, and now you're going to remove off your stitch marker and slip stitch. So insert your hook into the gap where your stitch marker was located, and then yarn over, pull through the stitch, and pull this loop through this loop, tighten it. And then now I'm going to tell you an important thing that I didn't tell you at the beginning. So you're going to have 2 these big circles, okay? You're going to have 2 of these big bases. You're going to have 2 bases. So this is our first base, this is our second base. Basically it's not a base, this is a proper flower pattern, but the circle, we're gonna work onto the circle. So this circle is our base. We're gonna make 2 of them, and I used to love 2 balls in it, but it depends on how much is the quantity and the gram of the yarn. I use 2 balls in it for my personal preference, but it depends on yours. So now let's continue. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over. So make the 3 chains. And then now for the pattern for the round 3 is this, that we're gonna place first double crochet followed by an increase double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, increase. So yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop of your upcoming stitch and place a normal double crochet. And since this is our first stitch, you're gonna mark every first stitch of the round, so mark it. And then in the next back loop of the next stitch, you're gonna place an increase. So place first double crochet and then place another double crochet in the exact same stitch. Will create an increase stitch. So this is the pattern for the round 3. So one double crochet followed by an increase. So let's move on to the second pair. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next V, back loop of the next V, and then place a double crochet, and then in the next stitch place an increased double crochet, not the proper stitch, just the back loop of the stitch. So this is the another pair. These are the pairs, and you're gonna repeat this pattern until you have a total of 12 pairs. So I've made 2 of them, and I'm gonna continue making more pairs to have a total of 12 pairs like this. This is the pattern: one double crochet followed by an increased double crochet in the back loop. I'm done with my round 3. I reached my last stitch. So over here I'm on my last stitch, and you can see that we've placed a double crochet, individual one, and then in the next stitch, the back loop of the next stitch, we're gonna place an increase. And remember that in every pattern of the round, we are always ending up with an increase stitch. Okay, so after making the last increase, like how you ever had, you're gonna remove off your stitch marker and place slip stitch in the first stitch and tighten it where the stitch marker was added. Okay, and now you're gonna chain 3 again, move on to the round 4, and then place the pattern for the round 4 is 2 double crochet followed by increase. So yarn over, insert your hook into the upcoming stitch, back loop of your upcoming stitch, and then place a double crochet first and mark it, making it your first stitch. And then in the next back loop of the next stitch, you're gonna place another individual double crochet. So after placing 2 individual double crochets in the next stitch, you're gonna place increase. So this is the pattern for the round 4. Look, you can see 2 individual double crochet followed by an increase double crochet. Increase is like a joined V, and 2 double crochets are separately standing like this. Okay, this is 2 double crochets and this is increase. And then now you're gonna continue making this pattern. So 2 individual double crochet first, and then in the next stitch there would be an increase. And you're gonna repeat this pattern, making these pairs 2 double crochet increase for a total of 12 times. And then now I'm gonna meet you when I'm done. So I'm done with my row 4. I'm on my last pair, so 2 individual double crochets first, and then as I told you that we are always ending up with an increase, we are actually ending with an increase, so increase at the last, and then slip stitch. So these rules you are gonna follow: chain 3, end up with an increase, and then chain and then slip stitch, and then again chain 3. These are the 3 rules you're gonna follow. Will remain the same till the end, but the pattern is different for every round. So we're gonna move on to the round 5. First we're gonna chain 3 and then place the pattern for the round 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5. The round 5 is that we're gonna place 3 double crochet first and then followed by an increase on the back loop. Work on the back loop. So first double crochet, mark the first one, and then go in the another one, place another double crochet, and then in the next one place 3 individual double crochets. and then in the next stitch place an increase. So this is the pattern for the round 5. 3 individual double crochets, 1 2 3, and then in the next stitch increase. Placing 2 double crochet in one stitch creates an increase, and I'm gonna repeat this pattern for a total of 12 times. So this is our pair. This is our pair will actually look like, and I'm gonna repeat making these pair for a total of 12 times until I reach the end of my row. I'm on my last pair. You can see I have 4 stitches left. 1 2 3 individual double crochets, and then in the last stitch, as we are ending up with an increase, we're gonna place an increase. 2 double crochet in one loop makes an increase, and then a slip stitch to the first stitch where our stitch marker was located. Tighten it. So let me open up the yarn. Okay, so we are gonna move up to the round. Wait, let me count this. Okay, so I count this. We are gonna move on to the round 1 2 3 4 5 6th round. We're gonna chain 3. Always count onto your rounds where you are. Count from here. So this is the first circle. Okay, so you have a curl up over here. It's like a hill or a cap. So this is normal, and this is not even though visible, because we're gonna work on to the top of this circle. So the pattern doesn't really affect this thing it's what is happening to your circle. It's not pretty fine, you're right, it's moving upward. So this doesn't affect your piece, even the wall. It's pretty fine that if you have your piece looking like this, not a flat circle, because it's never gonna affect onto your piece of floral print that is our actual piece. It will never gonna affect this. If you had this, so it's fine, and you're gonna have this, I know, because we are making 3 chains. These are the extra 1 hidden chains, and we are working on the back loops. And if you made the hidden chain for the stitch, our piece usually popped, so it's okay if you had this. Now let's move on to the round 6. So the pattern for the round 6 is that we're gonna make 4 double crochet first, followed by an increase. So yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop of the upcoming stitch, placing a double crochet, and then mark it. And then in the next stitch, place another double crochet. In the next, another, and in the next, another. So place 4 individual double crochets like this, and then in the next stitch place an increase double crochet. And the stitch I'm saying, it doesn't mean the whole stitch, the back loop of the stitch. Okay, so this is the pair. 1 2 3 4 individual double crochets and increase. So we're gonna repeat this pattern for a total of 12 times, placing 4 double crochet first, and then in the next stitch place an increase. So this is how your pair would actually look like, and you're gonna make these pair for a total of 12 times. And I hope that everybody had got the hang of this pair and how to make double crochet and how to make the increase double crochet and everything, whatever. But if you forgot, you can always rewatch the first parts where I demonstrated everything really slowly within really details, and I'm gonna meet you when I'm done. So this is my last pair. First I'm gonna place 4 individual double crochets in these 4 stitches. 1 2 3 4. So 4 individual double crochet after an increase, and we are always ending up with an increase, so in the last make an increase according to your pattern. 4 double crochets, increase. So we are done with the round 6, and we're gonna slip stitch to the first stitch where the stitch marker was at, tighten it so your piece is like this. You can push it a bit to measure the size. Okay, so this is our piece. We're gonna go on making more, so chain 3, and we are at the round 7. For the round 7, the pattern is that 5 individual double crochets followed by an increased double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the upcoming stitch, and then place a double crochet. And I'm going to demonstrate one more time that how to place a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop of your upcoming stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch. Now you got 3 loops on your hook. You're gonna yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops, first loop and then the second loop, and now you are left with 2 loops. You're gonna yarn over, pull through both loops. So to make a double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop of your upcoming stitch, and yarn over, pull through the stitch. You're gonna have 3 loops then, and then you're gonna yarn over, pull through just the first 2 loops, and then you're gonna left with 2 loops. You're gonna yarn over again, pull through left of the 2 loops. So you're gonna place a double crochet like this. So meanwhile, let's move on to placing my 3rd double crochet, my 4th double crochet, and then the 5th one. So 1 2 3 4 5, and then in the next stitch it will be the increased stitch. Wait, what happened? Okay, so this is the pattern. You can see 1 2 3 4 5 individual double crochets, and then the next stitch is an increase. This is a pair. So let's move on to the second one. So 1 2 3 4 5. Check once, 1 2 3 4 5, and then in the next stitch it would be the increase stitch. And this is the pattern for the round 7. 1 2 3 4 5, increase, and this is how your pair would look like. You're gonna repeat making these pairs for a total of 12 times. So I've made my 2. I'm gonna make more to have a total of 12 pairs, and I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done over here at the stitch marker reachment. So I've reached my last pair. Wait, I'm gonna open up my yarn. So yeah, I'm on my last pair. I have reached my last one. So yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, placing double crochet. 1 2 3 4, and then the 5th one. So I'm done making 1 2 3 4 5 double crochet, and then in the next last stitch there would be an increased stitch. Increased stitch, ending up with an increase, and then the final slip stitch to the first stitch where your stitch marker was located. Tighten it, and now you are done with the round 7. Congrats. And finally you are also done with your base piece. So this is your final look of your base, or it might be looking like this, but we're gonna fix this later, it's fine. So this was our last round. The 7th round is our last round. We're gonna make a total of 7 rounds, but since we're gonna have 2 bases, 2 big circles like this, but in one of the circle we're gonna do an extra thing. So the extra thing would be that we're gonna place 60 half double crochets and one base, not the second one. Only in the one base we're gonna place 60 the half double crochets, and we're gonna leave one base the normal. And these 60 double crochets are not gonna affect your piece, they are just there to something I'm gonna tell you later. So first you're gonna place your 60 double crochets in only one base, not the two of them. So first chain one, double crochet has a height of chain one, and over here you're also gonna place double crochet on the back loop. So yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop, yarn over, pull through the stitch. Now you got 3 loops on your hook, you're gonna yarn over, pull through all of the loops. In double crochet we pull through first 2 and pull off the left of the 2, but in the half double crochet we are just gonna pull through all of the loop after yarning over. So mark the first stitch as normal, and in the next back loop place another. So yarn over, pull through. Now I got 3 loops on my hook, I'm gonna yarn over, pull through all of the loops, yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. Now I got 3 loops on my hook, I'm gonna yarn over, pull through all of the loops, yarn over, insert my hook into the next loop, yarn over, pull through. Now I got 3 loops on my hook, I'm gonna yarn over, pull through all of the loops. Let me demonstrate it one more time. Yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. Now I got 3 loops on my hook, I'm gonna yarn over, pull through all of the loops. And now I'm gonna count onto these double crochets, so you need to count them. I've made 1 2 3 4 5 half double crochets, and I'm gonna make more to have a total of 60 double crochets. You're not sure that which point you're gonna reach, so I guess you have a total of 120 stitches in the whole base, or more or less of them. I didn't count, I just make the pairs, I just count on to the pairs, I didn't count the stitches, but I guess we had a total of number of 120 stitches. And you're gonna reach this point, this point, or this point, half double crochets depending on the yarn size and the hook size. So this is important that you just start counting from here, 1 2 3 4 5. The stitch you make, count that. So like this, you're gonna count your every stitch you're making. So 6 7 8 9 10. Like this, you're gonna count on to the stitches you're making. I've made 10 of them, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and I'm gonna make 50 more to have a total of 60 double crochets, half double crochets. And whenever you make your 60 double crochets, you are not gonna have exact point like me. Your might be different, or if you're using the materials, using the exact same materials like what I am, so you're gonna reach this point, but it depends on your materials. And I'm gonna meet you when I'm done with making my 60 double crochets and wherever I reach my piece. So here I'm done with my 60 half double crochets. So as you can see, I didn't reach the perfect halfway of my circle. It's a bit upwards, but it depends on yours. And so this is our last one. We're gonna chain one after our last stitch, and then we're gonna pull up a bigger loop, a very big loop, so that we can sew. So this loop is fine, that much bigger. I don't know, you can see, so this much bigger loop is fine. And then now I'm gonna cut this, and I'm gonna pull out the working yarn which is attached to the yarn ball. And so this yarn tail, the longer one you had, you're gonna pull this tightly. So this is the front piece, this tightly pull this, and you can remove your stitch marker out. So finally you are done with your base part, and you're gonna make total of 2 circles. But this is the part where we made the 60 double crochet, the half double crochets. this is only for the one base, not for the other one. You're gonna leave one base after making cut. You're just gonna cut the working yarn of the one base, like chain one after you make the 7 round for your one base, and pull up a bigger loop and then cut it. But for your another base, since you have 2 bases, you're gonna make 60 half double crochet after making the seventh after making the 7th round, and then after you're gonna fasten off. So this is the difference in your 2 bases. One is added with the half double crochet 60 and one is not added with it, and so you're gonna make 2 of them. And if you made this, congrats, because this is the base part. If you can make the base, you can make the whole back, no worries. So congrats if you make the base. So as you know that we are done making the base part, and we're gonna work onto the floor print, the floor texture. We're gonna make it on top of the piece that we made just now. So we're gonna start by attaching the new yarn. Like, we cut the yarn and we're gonna grab onto the exact same color, the previous yarn, and we're gonna attach it to our piece. So like this. So you can see it can be a bit tricky, but it's okay. I'm gonna teach you. So you can see this is your whole circle, right? This is your whole circle. You have a piece where you have slip stitch things, right? This is these things. These are the lines. These are looking a bit even out. These lines are the slip stitches. Okay, it's not gonna affect your piece, I'm sure, but these are the slip stitches. And then now the reason we work on the back loop is that we need to work on the front loop. Okay, so front loops are usable, they're not useless. So you can see this is the first slip stitch that we made. This is the first round of 12 double crochet, if you remember. And then when we reach this point, we slip stitch over here, right? And then we chain 3 again, and then we make over here, go over here, and then we make another double crochet in the back loop. And we skip the first loop, so we have a loop visible over here. This loop, you can see, this loop is the loop we're gonna go in. So go in this loop like this. I hope that you can understand it. You can fold it in half so it will be easy for you to work. So we go in the loop which is after the first slip stitch we've made, right? And then now we're gonna hold on to our yarn. So hold it with your these 2 fingers, go behind your index finger and hold the yarn with your middle finger and thumb. And you're gonna place it, you're gonna fold your circle in half to make a semicircle, and you're gonna place it at the back side of your circle. This yarn, and place it at the back and hold it with your middle finger, and your thumb would be at the front part facing you. And then now you're gonna yarn over on this yarn. This is the yarn we're gonna make this our working yarn. So yarn over, bring your hook back over on top of the working yarn. The yarn which is always coming from our index finger is our working yarn. So after yarning over, you're gonna pull it through this loop which is always on our hook. So this is how we introduce our yarn, new yarn, and attaching it. So now we're gonna start working. So chain 3, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And then now you're gonna fold your piece in half with this way, because we're gonna work onto this. So the point is that we're gonna work on the back loops, and then we're gonna work onto the front loop. So we're gonna use both loops, but at the great time of it. So like this. These are the chain 3. You can see we're gonna yarn over. So we are actually making the petals now. We're gonna make petals. So the petal, first we're gonna make 2 of the petals, and then we're gonna increase the number of the petal. So once you got the hang of the pattern of the petal, it would be pretty easy for you to make. But one thing would be different in it, so it's okay, I'm gonna tell you. So yarn over, and then you're gonna place double crochet increase in the exact same stitch where you've introduced your yarn. So this thing where the first V is coming from is our loop where we introduce our yarn. You're gonna go inside it, underneath it after yarning over, and then you're gonna also cut onto this yarn tail so it's hidden inside your stitches, and then just place a double crochet, and then place another double crochet in the same stitch. So like this, in the same stitch where you introduce your yarn and you chain 3 and you make your previous double crochet, make another. So this is our first increase. Now we're gonna go in the other loop. So next loop, you can see this is the next loop, this is the next loop, this is the next loop. So the loops you have, consider them as a stitch. I'm gonna call them the stitch, but they're actually loops. So you're gonna place another double crochet increase in the next stitch, so another increase, and then in the next stitch, which is this one, place another. So this is, we're gonna place 3 increases like this. And then now after placing 3 increases, you can see we're gonna chain 3 again like this. And after chaining, we're gonna flip our work to the back. So you have a piece, it look like this, you're gonna flip it facing the back side, and then you're gonna place 6 increases. Since we made 3 increases, so 3 plus 3 is 6. We have 6 stitches, we're gonna place 6 increases. It means that we're gonna have total of 12 stitches after making 6. So you can see where to insert. You can see a V there. Look at from top, there are V's. Skip the first 3 V's because these are the 3 chains. These are not counted as a stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and then in the 4th stitch, this is our stitch. You can also see the holes over here. These are the holes, or you can look at them from above. You're going right underneath the V, like this. You're going underneath the V, the whole V. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook into this V. Now the chain 3, the 4th one, go under it, and then place the double crochet, and then place another double crochet in the exact same stitch, and then place another double crochet in the following stitch, place an increase. So we've placed 2 double crochet and we have 4 stitches. So where to insert next, you can see this is the stitch we've made the 2 double crochets earlier, and the next one, which is at the following stitch, this is our next point to make the 3rd increase. So this is our 3rd increase. We are left with 3 stitches, and I'm gonna place my 4 increase, and then the 5th, and then the 6th, like this. Make sure that you're going under whole V. This is our 6th increase. So everybody know that how to make these rounds, but if anybody doesn't, I'm telling you very clearly, you can cut off the excess yarn which is coming over here after hiding it, so like this. And after placing 6 increases, you are gonna slip stitch in the 3rd stitch. So look at your round. This is your round. This is our first round. So I'm gonna tell you how to count down to the stitches. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3. You're gonna slip stitch in the 4th one. I hope that you can see. So you can see now. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, and insert your hook into the 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is our stitch we're gonna slip stitch. So insert, yarn over, pull through the stitch, the loop, or whatever you want to say that. So pull this loop through this loop, slip stitch, and tighten it, or it's up to you, but I like to tighten it so that it's not visible. And then now I teach you the things that are way similar and so easy for you to make as a beginner, as a pro, or anything, but this thing is a bit different. So watch carefully. Chain 1, you're gonna reverse single crochet backwards. Okay, it sounds a bit tricky, but I'm gonna tell you how. So you can see there are the V's on the top of your double crochets. There are 12 V's in total. So you're gonna go back in the loop, in the stitch. So this is our last double crochet, this is our last standing double crochet, and there's a V on top of this double crochet. You're gonna go back in this V like this. Okay, I hope you can understand it. Go back in the last standing double crochet, but not the whole, the V of it, the V which is representing that, gonna go in there, and then you're gonna yarn over, pull through that V. Okay, so yarn over, pull through this V, just pull it through. Okay, and then you're gonna pull it through the loop which was on your hook as well. Pull through the stitch and pull through the loop like this, and this is our reverse single crochet or reverse slip stitches, whatever you wanna say. So insert your hook back in the second last stitch. So this is the second last stitch, and then yarn over, pull through the stitch, and then you're gonna pull it through the loop as well. So pull through the stitch, then pull through the loop. So you're gonna go backwards to reach this point. Okay, insert your hook into the third last stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, pull through the loop, and I hope that you can understand it clearly. So go back in the fourth last stitch and yarn over, pull through the stitch, pull through the loop. And so it sounds a bit tricky to do, but it's very easy. Once you got the hang of it, you're never gonna get confused of. So like this, you're gonna do the reverse single crochets, till the end. So this is my 11th, and then this little V over here, this is also representing our first double crochet. So this is our double crochet, this is our first double crochet after the chain 3, and there's a V on top of it which is representing the first stitch. You're gonna go in that as well and place another reverse single crochet or reverse slip stitch, and then now you're gonna flip off your work again this way. So you can see a petal forming. Okay, so you can see a petal forming over here. Now you're gonna slip stitch to the third stitch as well. So skip this from here. This is not a loop for you over here. This loop is a loop where we worked previously. Okay, this is not a loop. The one after it, this is the loop. So 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one, slip stitch. We're gonna skip 3 stitches. So the pattern of the petal of this petal, how to make the petal will remain the same, but the number of the stitches we're gonna skip will change. Okay, this thing which is creating the petal shape will remain the same all across, but the only difference we're gonna make is that we skip, like for example, we skip 3 over here. The next round we are gonna skip 5. Okay, so this is how we're gonna move on to the pattern for making the rose texture of it. And so yeah, continue doing it, but I'm gonna tell you very slowly and clearly so no confusion. And then now make 2. You're gonna make 2 in the first round. So chain 3, just repeat the steps you've made over here. You're gonna increase increase double crochet in the exact same stitch where you made the slip stitch and chain 3. So this is our first double crochet. Make another in the exact same, and then in the next loop make another double crochet increase. So, and I hope that you've got the hang of it, where to work, you know it properly. And then now you can see our round is finishing. So over here, this is our last loop as well. The one which is after this is not a loop. This loop is the loop where we worked. This is not, this one is just a loop over here for us. So just double crochet and then increase, fold it in half so you don't mistake anything. Okay, so after making these 3 increases, you're gonna chain 3 again, and then you're gonna flip off your work, and then you're gonna place 6 increases. Okay, so 1 increase, 2 second increase, 3rd increase, 4th increase, 5th increase, and then the 6th, our last increase. So okay, so wait, so we are on the last increase, making our last one. And then we're gonna slip stitch in the 3rd stitch. So this thing is a bit tricky for us to see. There's no changing, but the only difference is that our visible thing, this thing that we were looking at, is different now. So you can see this is a loop, this is not a loop, we've worked in it. So one after this, okay, so this is my yarn is a darker shade. I hope that you can see. So this is the loop, this is after this one, this is not, we've worked in it. One after it is the first, one after it is the second, and then one after it is the third. As we are slip stitching in this round, in the 4th stitch, we're gonna slip stitch in the first stitch. Okay, so you can see you've made a petal. After this stitch, you can see nothing. Okay, so nothing is visible over here, just the back side of your petal. So you're gonna push your petal a bit upwards, so you can see, you cannot see in mine, but in yours you can see that you have 2 loops, so many loops. You're just gonna randomly pick up any loop. So for me, I'm gonna pick up this one. Just you're gonna randomly pick up any of the loop, because we are not properly sure that yeah, this is the loop where we worked. So pick up any of it and just slip stitch. I hope that you can understand it. You're not gonna see, because you cannot see over here which is your 4th loop or whatever number of stitch, but this loop is the loop which is after the 3rd loop, and you're just gonna insert your hook in it, and then you're gonna slip stitch. So slip stitch in the loop which you can see it like this is your 7. So assume your 4th loop, or what the number of the loop you are making. Yeah, so you're gonna I spy the 3rd loop, 4th loop over here, and then after you're gonna chain 1 reverse single crochet. So look at your piece from above, there are V's on top. Okay, so yeah, there are V's on top, and the V is representing the double crochet, the standing double crochet. You're gonna go in the last loop like this, and then yarn over, pull through the stitch, pull through the loop, and then reverse single crochet all across this piece. So I'm gonna go in this second last, and then the 3rd last, 4th last, 5th last, and then now I'm gonna make this single crochet, reverse single crochet all across. So now after making your reverse single crochets, you're gonna flip your work, and then now you're gonna slip stitch in the third. So you're gonna see the piece, the part of your piece where you have this kind of circle part over here, and you're gonna push your petal towards your side so that you can see the loops. So 1 2 3, and the fourth one is the loop where you're gonna I spy that you are not gonna having a great number of loop, like the fourth loop is not visible clearly, so it's okay, just take any of the loop as your fourth one. So now we are done with our round 1 of petals, and you're gonna adjust the petals later. Okay, so this is the base of our rose, like this, and then now we are gonna chain 2 after slip stitching, chain 2 more, and then you're gonna slip stitch in the second round to reach the second round. So you are ended over here where your slip stitches are. So over here you're gonna go, so you can see I've told you that this is the line which is looking a bit odd one out. So this is the line where we made slip stitches. After chaining 2, you are gonna slip stitch on the second round of the second round, and the stitch of the second round is just which is right after the slip stitch. So like this, you're gonna slip stitch in the second round's stitch like this. Or if you are not over here at my place where I've placed these slip stitches, so it's okay, you're just gonna slip stitch in the stitch where you can find it to be your next stitch for your round 2. So this is, we've reached our round 2. We're gonna, for round 2 we have a total of 3 petals, and we're gonna skip 5. So in the round 1 we skip 3, and then in the round 2 we're gonna skip 5, and we're gonna make 3 petals. So this is the difference, the number of the petal, the number of the stitches we're gonna skip. We're gonna change, it's the change in the number of the petal and the stitches we're gonna skip, but the pattern for the petal, the stitches that we're gonna make will remain the same till the end. So chain 3, slips 12, you're gonna place increases. Okay, 1 2 increase, and then I've told you where to insert next. This is the next loop, you're gonna go in the next loop. So place another increase, and another, and then now after you're gonna chain 3 again, flip off your work, and then place 6 increases. So 1 2 3 4 5 okay, so 5, and then the 6th, the 5th, and the 6th one. So you are done with your 6 increases, and after you're gonna slip stitch in the 6th stitch. So this is your first stitch after the making the petal. Consider this is your first stitch, this is your second, this is third, fourth, fifth. Okay, and in the 6th loop stitch or whatever, you're gonna slip stitch and tighten it, And then now you're gonna reverse single crochet, first chain 1, go back in the last stitch which is representing your last standing double crochet, go in the back, go backwards. Basically we're going backwards all the back way down to reach this part of the petal. So insert your hook into the stitch, back way, yarn over, pull through the stitch, pull through the loop on your hook, and place reverse single crochets or reverse slip stitches or whatever you want to say there. So our purpose is to reach this point, that's why we are making the reverse single crochets. And these reverse single crochets, you can see it's creating a texture pattern. So V's over here, V's over here. So it will be a stronger tip for our petal. Our petal wouldn't be so wonky. It's a stronger upcoming point for it. So it gives a good look to the piece. So after you're gonna slip stitch in the 5th stitch. So the 5th stitch is the stitch which is this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6th stitch is our stitch. We're gonna slip stitch back. This is our first petal of the round 2, and then now we are gonna chain 3 again to move on to the second petal and make reverse single crochets in the stitch where we made the 5th, 6th slip stitch of the previous petal, and make 3 increases on the 2 following stitches. So this way. And then now after this you are gonna chain 3, flip your work, and then place 6 increases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then now where I'm gonna slip stitch, so this is the same thing from the previous petal, but the number of the stitches is different. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 petals in between this one and this one. And then now the 6th stitch we're gonna find that. So stretch your petal, the previous petal, a bit upwards, and then take any loop as your 6th loop. So you are gonna I spy your 6th loop over here and slip stitch on that. And then after this you're gonna chain 1 and then reverse single crochet. So the place where you're reverse single crocheting is this last stitch, the V of the last stitch, which is on top of the last standing double crochet. And then we're gonna insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch and pull through the loop as well. So this way. And I'm done with the single crochets, reverse. And then now I'm gonna slip stitch in the 5th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6th stitch. Slip stitch, tighten. And then you are gonna make the another petal, the 3rd petal, in the same way. Chain 1, 3 increases, chain 3, and then flip your work, but chain 3 in the beginning. I'm sorry, I've said chain 1, chain 3 in the beginning, 3 increases, chain 3, 6 increases, skip 5 stitches. The stitches you have over here, these are already 5, and then slip stitch in the 6th one, assume that, and making it any of the stitch, and then chain 1 after slip stitching and reverse single crochets, and then I'm gonna meet you back when I'm over here done with the point after making the reverse single crochet of this petal. So I'm done with my reverse single crochets. I'm gonna slip stitch in the 6th one. So look at your piece, 1 2 3 4 5 6, this one. So you're gonna look at the back of your first petal and then tighten it. So now you're gonna move on to the round 3 as you've made your round 2, and in the round 3 we're gonna have 4 petals and we are gonna skip 6. So chain 2 and then slip stitch in the stitch of your 3rd round, any of the random stitch which is right upcoming for you. Tighten it, and then you are gonna repeat the same steps to make the petal, and I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done with my petal. Okay, so this petal I'm gonna make with you, and but the another ones you're gonna make it by yourself to test yourself. So increase 3 1 2 3, and then you're gonna chain 2 3, flip your work, and then 6 increases. You're gonna wanna insert your hook in the stitch, the whole stitch, go under the whole stitch. This one, and then the other one, the last one, you say. So the last one, and then slip stitch in the 7th stitch. So let me open up my ball. So slip stitch in the 7th stitch as we are gonna skip 6. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, the 7th stitch is the stitch we're gonna slip stitch. Tighten it, and then place reverse single crochets, and I'm sure that everybody knows how to make the reverse single crochets because it's not so much different, like it's not that much hard to make the reverse single crochets. Once you got the hang of it, it's pretty easy for you. It's just like the slip stitch but in the backwards way, and everybody knows the double crochets and the slip stitches because I've told everything before very detailed and slowly. So we are done with the slips, the reverse single crochets. We're gonna slip stitch in the 7th, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 7th stitch, the loop the stitch, whatever, slip stitch, tighten it up. And so you're gonna repeat these steps. So make 3 more total of 4 petals, and you are gonna skip 6 stitches over here and slip stitch in the 7th one. And I know that everybody knows how to slip stitch where you are not visible with the 7th stitch or your current stitch. So you're gonna assume that stitch, and then I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done with my all 4 petals. Remember to make that, and it's not that much harder or tricky because you know how to make the double crochet stitch. If you know that, you can make the whole piece, then nothing is different from the half double crochet stitch, the double crochet stitch. And everyone knows to make the slip stitches. Everyone knows, I've teach everyone that how to make the reverse single crochets and what number of the stitches you're gonna skip, how to slip stitch, where you're gonna work. Everyone knows that. And if you forgot how to make it, you're gonna always revolve the first part where I demonstrated really slowly with one really detailed. And I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done with my all 3 petals. I have 2 of 4 petals when I've made before with you, and gonna meet you back when I'm over here done. So now I'm done with my 4th petal, and then now I'm gonna slip stitch in the 7th stitch. So 1 2 3 wait okay so 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then this one is the 7th one for me, because I assume it that this is my 7th, yeah. And then tighten it. We are done with the round 3. We are left with 3 rounds. So you're gonna chain 2 more, slip stitch in the upcoming stitch of your next round, which is round 4. Tighten the slip stitch. Okay, so and then you are gonna make the petal. So for this round you are having a total of 6 petals, and you are gonna skip 5. So you are gonna make the petal first. So now you are gonna skip 5. So 1 2 3 4 5, and then in the 6th stitch, so 1 2 3 4 5 6th stitch, slip stitch in the 6th one, tighten it, and then chain 1, and then reverse single crochets back way down till the end. And at the end we are gonna slip stitch in the 6th stitch again. So this is the pattern for the round 4, and you are gonna repeat the same steps to make the petals that I told you how to do them. And you are gonna skip 5 in this for both sides, and you know that how to skip a stitch, how to slip stitch when you reach this point. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 stitch is our working stitch, tighten it, and then now you're gonna repeat and make 5 more petals to have a total of 6 petals. You're gonna have 6 petals in this round, and I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done. And this is quite repetitive. Once you got the hang of it, once you know how to make this, you can make the whole bag. There's nothing really different in it. The difference which is over here, the number of the stitches we are skipping, is a good thing for you because it can maintain your focus. You are not gonna get disturbed, because making the same thing, making the repetition, can disturb off your focus. So it's a good thing that you're not making the same repetitive things. It's maintaining onto your focus. I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done with this row, making the 5 more petals while skipping 5 stitches, and I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done over here, when I'm gonna reach the 5th round. So I'm done with my 6th petal. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then we're gonna chain 2 now. 1 2 2, and then slip stitch at the upcoming stitch of your next round. For 6th round, and then slip stitch, tighten it, and then now for this pattern there's a difference. Like in the previous patterns, the previous rounds, you were choosing a number like 4, like 3, 5 and 6, and you are skipping that number. but at this time you're gonna alternate between 5 and 6. So 5 for in the first petal you're gonna skip 5, and in the second petal you're gonna skip 6, right? So for the first petal you're making, you're gonna skip 5 in both sides, so this side and this side. And then after, in the second petal you're gonna start making, you're gonna skip 6 in this side and this side. I'm gonna show how it works. So just continue making the petal. First make 3 increases. So 1, 2, and then make 2 increases, and then make 6 increases after chaining 3 flipping work and 6 increases, and I'm gonna meet you back over here when I'm at this point. So I'm done with my 6th increase, and then now I'm gonna skip 5 over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th stitch is the stitch where you're gonna slip stitch in the 6th stitch while skipping the 5 stitches and tighten it. And then after, you are gonna chain 1 and then reverse single crochets. So makes the reverse single crochets and then skip 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6th stitch is a stitch where we're gonna slip stitch. Tighten it, and then now make another petal like the same way. So increases and make the petal. So after making the 6 increases, as I told you that we're gonna alternate between 5 and 6. So for this part, for the second petal, we're gonna skip 6 stitches because we skipped 5 in the previous one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is our 6th, this is our 7th. Insert your hook into the 7th loop. You're gonna zoom your 7th loop as you do the 6th one and tighten it, and then make the reverse single crochets to reach the back way down over here. So after this, making the reverse single crochet, you're gonna flip your work and skip 6 stitches again because we skipped 6 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this in the 7th stitch, slip stitch. Tighten it. So this is the alternation that we are gonna do. In the first petal, very first petal of the round 6, we skip 5 stitches on both sides. But in the second petal of the round 6, we skip 6 stitches on both sides. So this is the alternation between 6 and 5. Now we have skipped 6 before, we're gonna skip 5 now, and then 6, 5, 6, 5. And then while making this alternation, we are gonna make 7 petals. We have made 2, we're gonna make 5 more to have a total of 7 more petals. And while making this alternation, we are gonna repeat the same steps. So first you skip the 6 in the previous one, you're gonna skip 5. Now the petal we are just making now, with this point over here, you're gonna skip 5, and then in the next petal you are gonna skip 6, and then in the next 5. So this is the alternation you're gonna make, and I'm sure that you've got the hang of it. And then now I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done with my all of the 7 petals between the alternation as well. Okay, so now I'm done making my 7 petals, and I ended up with skipping 5 stitches. And then now go ahead, chain 2, slip stitch to your next round, and then this is your last round as well. This is your last round, and in this round I'm just gonna tell you, and then you are gonna make it. This round we are gonna have 8 petals, total of 8 petals, and for each petal we are gonna skip 6 stitches, and so on, make the petal. And then now this is so repetitive, I'm sure that everybody know how to make this. And then now I'm gonna meet you back over here, done making my 8 petals, and I'm gonna skip 6 stitches in it. So now I'm finally done making my 8 petals this round, and then now I'm just gonna slip stitch into the another stitch, but first I'm gonna chain 2, and then now I'm gonna slip stitch into the starting of the double crochet, half double crochet which we've made, and tighten it and then pull up a bigger loop. But first you need to chain 1 to make it more secure. So chain 1 after slip stitching and make up a bigger loop, pull up a bigger loop for sewing, so around this big, and then you can cut that. Pull out the working yarn and you are done tightening this yarn too. And then now you are done with your rows, so your piece might be looking like this, but it's okay. And then now you are gonna make two bases like this. So this is the one and this is the second base. You're gonna make 2 bases of this, and you can see the petals are like bunched up. You're gonna open them, so push them upwards so it can be opened like this. This way you are gonna open up your petals to shape, to give it a nicer look like this. Gonna pop up your petals, shape them nicely, and do the same thing for the other piece. And so I open up the petals of both pieces, and this was the main important part that we need to make for the bag. We make the base, the look of the bag, and we are just left with sewing, which is so normal, and with its handle, which we are gonna use the pearls or whatever you are gonna use it for making the handle. So this is end of our work of the bag. This is the final look. It will be like this, shaped like this. This is the front, this is the back, and then now we are gonna sew onto these pieces. So here we've made these 2 pieces of the rows. This is the first one, this is the second one, and then now we are gonna sew both pieces together. So grab your darning needle, but first you're gonna cut off your one of the long yarn tail, but cut the smaller one. You think that this is the smaller one, so if you don't have the correct measurement of your yarn ends, so this is my smaller end. I'm gonna cut this one from here. Alright guys, I should cut this one. So cut the smaller yarn end, you think so, for both of the pieces. You should only have one longer end on both of the pieces. Cut one of the smaller end. So you have just one yarn end remaining on your both pieces, and then now you're gonna align your 2 pieces together. Now you're gonna align your both pieces side by side. So face your piece, place the piece where we have 60 half double crochets at the back side and facing its back side, and then place this one, the one which is not with the 60 half double crochet, place it on top of it this way. And then now you're gonna thread the piece which is with this yarn end with this piece which is on the front part of you. You're gonna thread its yarn end through the darning needle. So after this you're gonna sew them together. So you're gonna sew them stitch by stitch. So face both pieces together, go in the back loop of the piece which is facing you, this piece, go in the back loop of it, and in the whole stitch of your other piece, right? So this is a stitch, this is a V. A ribbon V represents a stitch, and it has 2 loops, back loop, front loop. You're gonna go through in the back loop of the piece which is facing you, and the whole stitch in the whole V of the face which is further away from you. Understand? And then now you are gonna pull it through completely. And ignore this, omit this yarn end of the other piece, of the back piece for now. And then again go in the come back and go in the back loop of the piece which is facing you and go in the whole stitch of the piece which is further away from you. This way you're gonna sew. So the back piece, back loop, and the whole stitch, the whole V. And then the back loop, whole stitch, 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 the back loop and the stitch, the back loop and the whole V. You can say it, back loop, the whole V, back loop, the whole V, back loop and the whole V, and again the back loop, the whole V, the back loop, the whole V, back loop, V. So in this way you're gonna sew the piece together, the pieces together, until you reach the end of your 60 half double crochet point. Now I'm done sewing the pieces, and then now I'm gonna secure the end. So the end is getting smaller and smaller. You're gonna use your hook, go through any of the loop, pick up any loop from your hook, and weave in by using your hook. So secure it for 1 or 2 times by passing it here and there. And this. And then you are just gonna secure hold the end so that it wouldn't be visible after, and your sewing stitches wouldn't be visible as well. The end of that. And so you are just gonna cut off the end, but if you don't have any end left, don't need to cut it next. So as we've sewn the pieces together, and then you have an end on the other side, you're gonna thread this end through your sewing needle, not the darning needle, through the sewing needle. Or if your darning needle's face is not that much wider, so you're gonna thread it through this one, because we are gonna make the handle from now, and I'm making the handle from the pearls, and I need to insert these pearls in this end, yarn end over here. So this needle is way more wider for my pearls holes. So this is the pearl. I'm gonna pick this, and when I'm going it's getting too wider for me. This part is getting too wider. That's why I decided to use the sewing needle. I'm gonna thread this end through my sewing needle. But if you're not making it with the pearls, if you're making it with the pearls, I'm gonna show you how to make that. And if your darning needle's face is not that much wider, so use that. But if it is so wide, use the sewing needle instead. I weave this, thread this end through the darning needle, but I'm first gonna secure this. So look at your piece. You're gonna go through the back loop of the stitch and the whole stitch, like how you sew it. You're gonna do the same, but with the sewing needle. Nothing will affect your work if you use a sewing needle instead of your darning needle. So it's good thing securely over here, and then now you're gonna grab onto your pearls and go through the pearl hole and pass it through, and insert as many pearls and as much you want your handle to be longer. I'm gonna insert these pearls. This is my quantity of pearls. I'm gonna insert them. So like this, I'm gonna insert all of my pearls this way. So yeah. So I insert 26 pearls in it, and then now you're gonna remove the sewing needle, and you can thread your yarn through the darning needle. Okay, so like this, so that we can sew, and then you're gonna tightly push these pearls towards where all the pearls are coming from, so that no end of the yarn is coming. It's properly tightened. Pull this tightly, and then now you're gonna sew it with the other point. So go through the both pieces, no matter which stitch you're going. So go through both pieces. So you're gonna go through both of the pieces together. Pull this tightly. Sew it tightly, so that there's no thing in the between of the pearls of your yarn and something. So secure it twice or thrice. By this way, and this way. And then this way, this way. Completely hide your end inside your stitches. So this way. Then now you can just cut off the excess yarn end, and so your back might look like this. So you can just go inside the purse, but this is the point of the opening, and you can just push it towards the front piece, and then you can just hide it. So like this. Then cut all of the excess yarn ends you had. So this is the look of your bag. And then to give it a final touch, you're just gonna attach a magnetic button, and I'm gonna show you how to attach that. This is a button. Open it, close it. So this is your button, and then now you're gonna grab onto your yarn, which is attached to the yarn ball. Grab it, and then now you're gonna make a magic ring with it, and I've showed how to make a magic ring before. So this way, and then now you're gonna chain one extra to have a total of 2 chains, and then now you're gonna place 12 double crochet inside this thing. So yarn over, insert your hook directly into the ring, also caught onto the yarn tail, yarn over, pull through. Now you got 3 loops on your hook. You're gonna yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and pull to the left of the 2 loops, and then mark this first stitch. I've told to make the half double crochet stitch for about so many times, so I'm sure that everybody knows this. You are gonna make this for 10 more times, because I've made 2, and make 10 more to have a total of 12 double crochets in this ring. So I've made 12 double crochets. I'm gonna pull this yarn in to close up the ring, the gap in the middle, wherever you want to say it. Pull it completely, and now you can just remove off your stitch marker, and you are just gonna go in the first stitch and slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through the stitch. You have a loop on your left and a loop on your right. You're gonna pull this loop through this loop to form a slip stitch, and then tighten in this. and you had a circle. Now you are just gonna chain one, pull up a bigger loop, and then cut this loop. Pull out the working yarn, tighten this stitch, and then you have a circle and the support for your button. You're gonna make another more circle, so you're gonna have two circles like this. So now you have 2 circles, and then open up your button, face the circles, face the button on top of the circle this way. So the circles we've made are the support for your button. Your button is gonna close up like this, and the circle is gonna sit back to back, so it's like a macaron. So this is you're gonna make. First take your button, open it and face this part of your button, and then now you're gonna thread your sewing needle. Okay, so thread your sewing needle through the yarn till the yarn which is attached to the yarn will thread through the sewing needle, not the darning needle. So like this, and then now you're gonna take off your one of the side of your button, face the front part of your circle, and then now you're gonna go through these parts you had. Okay, so it's a magnet. Go through this and the piece. So basically you're gonna sew this. So the once and then twice. Thrice. So sew it like this for 3 times or more, and then go in this circle and come out for the other end of the button, so like this. So it's a magnet, this is steel, this is a magnet, so it's kind of getting harder for me to come up because it's sticking together, but it's fine. So finally I came up, and then I'm gonna go back this way, and then again I'm gonna come with the circle, the button's hole, and then in the stitch, so like this way. Okay, so I hope you understand to sew it, and I'm gonna sew it again with this needle. So I hope that you understand to sew this and sew this way, and for the other circle you're gonna sew your button in this way. So face the front piece and face the piece where you have the circle over here of your button, and then now I'm gonna meet you when I sew those pieces together. Okay, so now I'm just gonna remove off my sewing needle because this is bothering me a lot, and I'm gonna thread my yarn in through my darning needle. This is too annoying me, that's why. And my work is finished of sewing as well. So now I'm just gonna cut off the yarn which is attached to the yarn ball. You might be wondering that what should we do with this end which is attached to the end yarn ball, so you can just cut it. And then now the end which is okay, so thread your darning needle to the end, one of the end, not those which are together, leave them at the back, the one that you cut just now from the ball, the yarn ball. Just gonna go through any of the stitch, coming closer to the other end, and then now pick up the end that you just cut now, that you used to sew the button, and then now so it's gonna weave in this end as well, pass it through to 1 or 2 stitches, loops of the stitches, and then now you're just gonna tie a knot, and this not these are together. The one that are not together, that are further away from each other, you tie a knot in them, maybe double knot them, and then now you can just cut this. So you have just 2 yarn ends left for your button, and check this, it's closing it, so yeah, it is. And then now do the same thing for the other button, so your other button will place in this direction. Okay, so now I've sewn both of the pieces, and to see that they are magneting together, so this is the way they are gonna attach it together. So this way, and then open. And then now we're gonna pick up our bag, and we're gonna face them together, these buttons together, and then now we are gonna sew these buttons, the circles together. See, that's why we made the circle, so it's a support to our magnetic buttons. So this way we're gonna close the pieces together, and to sew you're gonna thread your darning needle through one of the end of your circle you had, thread it through, and then face one of the piece of your bag, and then now you're gonna go through the whole circle. So just sew it as a normal way, but sew it good way, but like secure it completely, properly secure it. This is very important to secure this time. So just through any of the stitch you can, and the piece, the bag as well, not the petal, just the body of the bag, the base of the bag, and come up with the other side, and in this way you're just gonna sew whole circle together. And in case your yarn end is getting smaller, so leave it that way and grab onto your other end, thread through the darning needle, and then sew the piece with that, in case your yarn end is getting smaller and smaller. So that's why, for safe way, pull up a bigger loop to cut, okay, for a safer zone. And then thread the weave in this, sew this. Okay, so my button is completely sewn, and then now I'm just gonna weave in this end from here by passing it through 1 or 2 stitches. Purpose to make the yarn end securely hidden inside our stitches. Pull it tightly, and then you can just cut off and do the same thing for the other end. Here I've sewn my one button, and then do the same thing for the other one as well. So this is hidden, and do the same thing for the other one as well. So here I'm finally done sewing onto my buttons, and then I can just close them, so this, and this is the final look now. So this is the final look. So I'm just gonna adjust it a bit, like this, and so Okay, so this is the end of our video as well. So this is the final look. You can see this is the final look. These are the pearls. This is the back. This is the button we sewn, and this is the end of our video. If you like my video, a great thumbs up for them, and if you want to watch more of my videos, go to my channel and subscribe it. So bye, wait till tomorrow for the next tutorial.